started in January 2008, this was not kind of pre-designed thing that will be coming here in 2008 and start this program. But it happened such a way, it's a wonderful coincidence, giving some kind of premonition that something the whole world has to pay attention to what we do in banking world. Because few months later, the whole edifice of banking started melting right in this city. And while this was melting away, all the big structures of banking, this tiny little thing in Queens was flourishing. That has a big message, because when you started the whole thing in one village in Bangladesh, the bankers told us repeatedly that this is a crazy thing. It's not possible to lend money to the poor people because they are not creditworthy. I think 2008 has brought us back to that question again. The question is, who is creditworthy? Somehow, your little program in Jackson Heights in Queens gave a very resounding answer, who is creditworthy. Now we have to pay attention to what has been achieved here, because we cannot just go back to the same banking that we always did without paying any attention to the massive number of people who are left out of the system. So this crisis has told us that something is wrong in the system. In order to correct that system must be an inclusive system, exclusive for the privileged people. That cannot continue. So the more power you gain, more success you gain, moving from Queens to Brooklyn, from Brooklyn to Manhattan, you are pointing your fingers where the solution is. Solution is, we have to travel together. You can't just left us behind. You cannot call yourself banking and merrily dance away without including everybody in the society. And then you don't have to be scared about it, because we have shown that it can be done. It can be done in a better way than you have done, because your structures were collapsing while we could continue without any fear. Just because banks were collapsing, I don't think there was a panic in Grameen America. Oh my God, things are not going right. No, there was no panic at all. They are totally confident. But just because we don't take collateral doesn't make us vulnerable. Just because you take collateral doesn't make you invincible. So this is a lesson we have to learn, we have to teach. And we have to redesign the system so that we don't end up with the same crisis or worse crisis again. So that's what this Manhattan branch tells us loudly, that we cannot go on the way we have done in the past. Journalists keep asking me, what is your objective in running a Grameen program in New York City? And one answer I gave during the inauguration, I said that New York City is the world capital of banking. The whole world does banking with New York City. And in these skyscrapers that New York built, they control the world finance. What I pointed out, they do the banking for the whole world, but they don't do the banking with their neighbors. And we are here to show that there's nothing wrong in doing banking with neighbors. So we hope we would create some confidence in them that they will change. If they change their mind, the whole world will change. That's what the significance. The objective is, as we increase the number of our borrowers in the program that we have in New York City, to that extent, there will be less people who will be forced to go to the payday loans. To that extent, there will be less people who are not qualified to open a bank account in a bank, because all our borrowers have a bank account in the bank, which is a privilege millions of people do not have in this country. Then I said, this is what we modestly hope, but our bigger dream is something else. If we really work in New York City the way we would like to, then New York City will be the first city in the whole of the United States where there will not be any payday loans anymore, anywhere in New York City. There will not be any pawn shops in New York City. There will not be anyone without a bank account in New York City. Then the whole country will realize it is possible. Because it's not only New York City. You go to any city, any town, anywhere in this country, you see big signs, pawn shops, big ads, payday loans, and a big thriving business, check cashing companies. And in other places, particularly in Bangladesh, when we do microcredit the way you have done here, we have also other layers of our program. One layer is very important for us in Bangladesh, making sure all the children go to school. And we have one more layer, we have insurance program. Varieties of insurance program for our borrowers so that they don't have to worry about their life. And we also introduced health insurance within our insurance program. So in our kind of portfolio, there are lots of different programs which you can gradually bring in. As the programs grow, as the program becomes strong, so that we don't have to miss out anything in life. Our children do not have to miss out anything in life. They are as creative, as energetic, any child, anywhere. They shouldn't be left out just because their parents started in a position that they could not give full support to them. So the bank, the program Grameen America will come and support that. And soon we'll be starting in Washington, D.C. They are waiting for this, watching you to see how you are doing so that they can say, ah, we are doing better than them. And San Francisco is waiting this year. They are in line. So we'll do that. So this becomes the hub from which the whole thing emanates, whole thing expands. So you can take pride, New York City, that we made this beginning of something which touches many people's lives. And it's because the borrowers here have created this new culture. Because after all, this whole Grameen thing is creating a new culture. Because people kind of give up by saying, oh, it won't happen, it cannot be done. You have done it. What was impossible, you made it possible.